Commander Razak Vorune strode across the command bridge of the inevitable Victory, his 7-foot frame casting a long shadow over the bustling officers at their stations. The pearl-like scales on his face shimmered under the ambient light as he gazed at the holographic projection of a blue-green planet. "So this is Earth," he said, his mandibles clicking in what passed for amusement among the Krexar species. "Hardly seems worth the fuel to get here." Admiral Plex Narveen, his second-in-command, approached with a data tablet. "The Galactic Council insists this backwater is strategically positioned," she said, not bothering to hide the sarcasm in her voice. "Though I fail to see how a primitive world with barely functional spacecraft could be of any value." "Their technology is laughable," Razak snorted, poking at the hologram with a clawed finger. "They still use combustion engines. And look at these weapons, they're practically throwing rocks at each other." The bridge crew chuckled obediently. "One battleship would be sufficient," Plex suggested, "but protocol demands we bring the standard invasion fleet." Razak waved his hand dismissively. 20 ships for a species that hasn't even achieved light-speed travel? What a waste of resources. But orders are orders. Lieutenant Durax appeared at his commander's side, clearing his throat nervously. "Sir, intelligence has forwarded some concerning reports." "What now, Durax? Don't tell me they've discovered fire?" Razak's joke triggered another round of laughter. "No, sir, but they do show remarkable adaptability. They've advanced from primitive flight to rudimentary space travel in less than a century. That's unprecedented." Razak rolled his 4 eyes. "So they're quick learners. They'll be quick at surrendering too." "There's more, sir," Durax persisted. "They're extraordinarily diverse in their thinking. Our psychological profiles show they approach problems from angles our strategists find unpredictable." "Unpredictable doesn't mean effective," Plex interjected. "Precisely." Razak turned to address the tactical officers. "Deploy in standard formation. 1/3 of our ships in high orbit, 1/3 targeting their military installations, 1/3 for civilian control. This'll be over before their next rotation around that pitiful star." As the bridge burst into activity, Durax clutched his data tablet tightly. "Sir, perhaps we should reconsider." "Enough, Lieutenant." Razak snapped. "I've conquered 32 worlds without a single defeat. These humans will be no different. Now prepare for the glory of adding another planet to the Krexar Empire." The fleet accelerated toward Earth, their superior engines covering the final distance in minutes. "Ready weapons," Razak commanded, settling into his command chair with a satisfied smile. "Let's show these primitives what real power looks like." Little did he know that Earth was about to show him something too. "Phase 1 complete, Commander. Earth's satellite network has been neutralized," reported Lieutenant Durax, unable to keep the note of surprise from his voice. "That was suspiciously easy." Razak Vorune reclined in his command chair, stroking his chin ridges. "As expected, Lieutenant. Their technology is primitive. Begin Phase 2, target their military installations." The Krexar fleet descended through Earth's atmosphere, their ship's energy shields easily deflecting the pathetic missiles launched in response. The alien crew laughed as primitive fighter jets scrambled to intercept them. "Look at those adorable little aircraft. They still use wings." Second Officer Mevo chortled, pointing at the tactical display. "Target locked on their largest military base, designation Pentagon," Weapons Officer Krell announced. Firing main cannons in 3, 2, the bridge exploded in a cascade of sparks as the ship rocked violently. "What in the void was that?" Razak bellowed, gripping his chair as alarms blared throughout the vessel. "Sir! Our shields are down 30%. Plex shouted over the chaos. "They've deployed some kind of electromagnetic pulse weapon we didn't detect." Razak's eyes widened in disbelief. "Impossible. Their tech level couldn't, Commander. Incoming transmission from the surface, Communications Officer Lisa interrupted. A human female appeared on screen, her dark skin contrasting with a crisp military uniform adorned with insignia. Her expression was calm, almost amused. "This is General Ellie Blackwood of Earth United Defense. I see you've met our welcome party." Her voice carried authority that even Razak couldn't help but respect. "Perhaps you'd like to reconsider your approach? You dare address me, primitive?" Razak snarled. "This minor setback changes nothing." Blackwood's smile widened. "Oh, that wasn't the setback, Commander. This is." The tactical display erupted with new alerts as hundreds of previously undetected weapons platforms emerged from oceans, deserts, and even orbit. "Sir. We've lost the dominant claw and righteous fury," Plex reported, panic evident in her voice. 3 more ships reporting critical damage. How? Razak pounded his console. "Their weapons shouldn't be capable of. They've adapted our own shield frequencies against us," Durax reported, scanning the incoming data. "They observed our first salvos and reconfigured their weapons accordingly." Lieutenant Durax's earlier warnings echoed in Razak's mind as he watched 2 more ships in his invincible fleet explode into cosmic dust. "Pull back to high orbit. Regroup," Razak ordered, his mandibles clicking frantically. "And someone find out how these humans learned our technology so quickly." As the Krexar fleet retreated, General Blackwood's transmission cut off, but not before Razak caught her wink. The invasion had just become a war. "All remaining ships, report status," Razak demanded, pacing the damaged bridge of the inevitable victory. 3 rotation cycles had passed since their hasty retreat to high orbit, and his confidence had evaporated faster than water in a vacuum. 12 ships operational, 5 beyond repair, 3 completely destroyed, Admiral Plex reported, her voice hollow. "The humans have launched what appears to be a coordinated counteroffensive." The main viewscreen displayed dozens of Earth vessels rising from the planet's surface, vessels that hadn't existed on their initial scans. "Where did they get this fleet?" Razak whispered, more to himself than his crew. Their technological capability was assessed at level 3, but these ships. These are nearly level 6. Lieutenant Durax approached with fresh data. "Sir, intercepted communications suggest they've been concealing their true capabilities for decades. They detected our probe ships years ago and prepared accordingly." "Clever creatures," Razak muttered, a reluctant admiration creeping into his voice. The tactical display suddenly lit up with warnings as the human fleet executed a maneuver no Krexar strategist would ever consider, splitting into 3 smaller groups that seemed to deliberately expose weaknesses. "They're baiting us," Plex observed. "It must be a trap." "Of course it's a trap," Razak snapped. "But what choice do we have? The Galactic Council expects results. We attack Formation Beta now." 4 Krexar battleships engaged the smallest human fleet segment, confident in their numerical advantage. But as they closed in, the human vessels scattered in seemingly random patterns. "They're running?" Second Officer Mevo asked, confused. Then the humans revealed their true strategy. Each Earth ship released dozens of smaller craft that attached themselves to the Krexar vessels like parasites. Before the aliens could respond, these Remora ships had penetrated their hulls and deployed. "Humans! They're boarding us," came the panicked cry from the dominant will. "The humans are inside our ships." "That's suicide," Plex gasped. No species would risk direct combat when they could attack from distance. But the humans did exactly that, capturing 2 Krexar ships intact while disabling a third. On the emergency channel, a heated debate erupted among the fleet captains. "We must withdraw immediately," urged Captain Vorex of the Stellar Conquest. "Retreat would bring disgrace," countered Captain Greel of the Merciless. Razak stared at the tactical display, watching as General Blackwood's flagship led another assault formation toward his position. The human commander had predicted their every move, countered their every advantage. These humans, Razak said quietly, they don't fight like any species we've encountered. They take impossible risks, adapt at impossible speeds, and think in impossible ways. For the first time in his decorated career, Commander Razak Vorune feared the outcome of a battle. And for good reason. Part 4, The Turning Point. Commander Vorune, they're hailing us again, Lieutenant Durax announced, his voice trembling slightly. The bridge of the inevitable victory was eerily quiet, half the consoles dark or sparking from damage. Razak straightened his posture. Even in defeat, a Krexar commander maintained dignity. On screen, General Blackwood appeared, looking remarkably fresh compared to his battle-worn crew. Commander, I'll make this simple. You have 1 hour to recall your remaining forces and leave our solar system. Permanently. Or what? Admiral Plex challenged from beside Razak. You've shown impressive capability, human, but you haven't defeated our entire fleet. Blackwood smiled that infuriating smile again. Actually, we have. You just don't know it yet. The transmission cut, replaced by a tactical display showing hundreds of small objects surrounding every remaining Krexar vessel. What are those? Razak demanded. Durax analyzed the readings, his scales paling. Sir, they're ordinary communications satellites. But they've been retrofitted with our own weapon technology they've stolen from our disabled ships. Impossible. They couldn't reverse engineer our systems so quickly. A junior officer interrupted, Sir. The humans have accessed our secure databases. They're downloading our entire technical library. Realization dawned on Razak like a supernova. They never intended to simply defeat us. This whole defense, it was to capture our technology. Commander, Plex said quietly, I'm receiving reports that the humans are now targeting our homeworld coordinates. Somehow they've extracted our star charts. Razak slumped into his command chair. They let us attack. They wanted us to attack. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Sir, Durax ventured, preliminary analysis suggests the humans have been monitoring galactic communications for decades. They detected our presence long ago but chose to appear primitive. It was bait. 1 ship, Razak murmured. We could have sent 1 ship as I suggested, and they would have captured it, learned from it. But we wouldn't have revealed our full military capabilities. We wouldn't have exposed our entire empire to them. Razak made the hardest decision of his career. Signal retreat. All ships. Maximum speed out of this system. As the battered Krexar fleet limped away from Earth, Razak composed his report to the Galactic Council. How could he explain that the supposedly primitive humans had not only repelled their attack but had gained generations of advanced technology in the process? On the main screen, Earth grew smaller, its blue-green surface deceptively peaceful. Lieutenant, Razak asked, what was that human expression in their historical records? The one about appearances? Durax consulted his data tablet. I believe it's, don't judge a book by its cover, sir. Razak nodded slowly. Add a new classification for Earth in our records. Threat level, maximum. Approach with extreme caution. Behind them, a single human shuttle followed at a discreet distance, recording everything.